Brah.
Mm.
We are back. Hello, sister.
Hello, 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 beautiful sister. It's August
Wow,
8th. It's Lionsgate. We're in a powerful time.
we
Whenever you
are.
may be listening to this,
We
I
are
can feel the
recording.
activation.
We are recording on 8/8.
Oh,
And for those of you that have been following along, you will have known by now 8/8. This is launch day of this beautiful podcast that you've been flowing with us. And we got something on our hearts today.
yeah, we do.
Around this whole piece of celebration. And I know that I often have pegged it as self-advocacy. But I think there's like this deeply rooted piece around celebration that we're just gonna unfold today
Yeah,
and then refold and then unfold some more.
how we do. That's how we do. We fold and
Hmm.
unfold. So celebration, of course, for you and I today, is a big celebration. So we're in that energy. And we get to celebrate ourselves for bringing what was an inkling, just an unction, into manifestation, into reality. And it's this supercharged, potent energy time. We're in Lionsgate, and today is the day. And yeah, when you do a podcast, you do have to self-advocate. You do have to put it out there and market and say, look at me, look what I created, look at what we did. And for a lot of listeners, especially a lot of the women I know, that's super uncomfortable to bring the spotlight to self. I don't know about you, Jill, but I know in my corporate heyday, it just always felt so sleazy. It just felt like a bunch of arrogance. And I did all the reframes like, no, it's self advocacy. It's really just, I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm simply laying out factually what I'm capable of, what I'm here to do. And all it still just felt for me like proving energy. And for me, that wasn't to be celebrated. This feels so different. Like I
Mm.
am in this space of knowing, like, we're not here to prove ourselves. We're not here to prove a point, to prove anything, prove our worth, prove anything. And we get to celebrate. We get to celebrate ourselves. We get to feel celebratory, whether any celebrations happen outside of us or not. I wonder what listeners feel about that distinction between feeling celebratory and the need to be celebrated.
Have the external validation is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Yeah.
It's can
And we all
you
need it to a certain extent. I mean, we're human.
absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a crucial piece of self celebration
Yeah.
before requiring others to give the pat on the back, because I think that is a whole other conversation. And because we all need to be, heard, seen, understood, appreciated, we need that in this human
Absolutely.
experience. There's something powerful I want to share, and this is why you and I have come together, because you said corporate space. And as you know, I've had a different path in this corporate world, and I sometimes sit in awe now, like where I am and my experiences,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
celebrating wins is actually celebrated.
Hmm.
So I do want to give some shout outs. If you've created, let us know, like, what is your experience right now? Have you
Yeah.
created um, something with an organization or within your team or just
Yes.
within your family, like whatever it could be, where you actually sit down, gosh, I know lots of families, right? You sit down, you're like, what are your wins today? Or what's the thing? Like the roses
Yeah,
and the
do that.
thorns. Was that
We do
you?
roses
That's
and
you.
thorns.
That's
Yes,
you. I was like, who told me about roses and
we do
thorns? See?
roses and thorns.
Um, well, yeah, we will. This is not something we do, but it might be a continuation because I know we did this after uh my partner was like, comment box, so it's like, and here, throw in your comments. They can be positive, they could flow on the negative, but it's all like generalized feedback
Yeah,
or celebrations. Or so I really um I really like honor wherever any of you are in finding that celebration piece, because I know, and I know, it is a journey of, there's might be some parts of you that are like real irritated. Like, how
yes,
come
yes,
this one always gets to be honored and patted on the back? I'm the one over here doing all this hard work.
right.
That's
Where's
a
my shine?
conversation with me that I have. Like, my
Mm,
hardworking self, my
mm-hmm,
warrioress, if you will,
mm-hmm.
she holds a lot of weight. She holds a
Yeah,
lot of weight in all my creations. And I am in a juncture right now, and you know this, where it's like, oh, I've not, she's not getting celebrated or pleasure.
right. Yeah, there's something about bringing the pleasure to the celebration
Mm. Now,
when
what are you
you
talking
are
about with
giving it for
pleasure? What
yourself.
are you talking about with pleasure? I know people,
I
this
know they're
word,
like,
this P word,
pleasure. What? What? What?
it just
I
has
am
gotten
talking
a
about,
whole rap.
it's got a bad rap in a lot of ways, but I'm
Sometimes.
really talking about, and I know you know this, we're talking about the truly sensual experience of being human. What you see, what you allow yourself to see and take in, what you hear, what you feel, the tender touch of silk on your skin, just the touch of your hand on your arm, what you smell, aroma. We were just putting on our oils, anointing with oils before we got started. Just the feel of the oil, the slip of it in your hand, the scent, the smell, what you're allowing yourself to hear. Like these are the senses making you a sensual being. This is where you can find pleasure. This is where you can bring in pleasure. And if it's any other kind of pleasure you like, yeah, sure, go for it. I mean, laughter for me is one of the greatest pleasures because it feels good in my belly. I just love the way it feels inside my body. And there is nothing like an uproarious laugh where tears are coming out and you're about to pee your pants. Like that kind of hard laugh, that brings me so much pleasure. I just take so much joy in that. And it turns on the pleasure center in the brain, which tells her, we like this. We want more of these rewards. So, what
Mm.
else do we need to be bringing into our lives to bring more of these kinds of rewards? The sensual touch, the smell. Go get your favorite candle, favorite perfume, cologne, whatever it is, favorite fabric, whatever that is. That's what I mean when I'm saying this is the joy of pleasure, bringing that to a very sentient place where you are embodying your own pleasure for yourself. Because, man, I rocked that project. I wrote the best email I've ever written in my life. I stood up for myself. I created some healthy boundaries. I asked for that raise. I shared my knowledge and saw light bulbs turn on with people. Like, whatever those things are, I watched my kid do something on their own that I had taught them for the very first time. I went to a new place in my partnership and my marriage. Like, these are things to be celebrated. And we get to bring pleasure to that. Especially, I know we are similar in this way, Jill, but I get the sense there are a lot of people out there who are the same too, where we just keep going. Yeah, of course I rocked that project. I worked my butt off. Of course I did this. My husband and I worked really hard to get to this place in our marriage. Of course this happened. Of course, like it's, yeah, this is what I'm
Okay,
supposed to be
next.
doing.
Okay, next.
On to the next.
Okay, next.
On to the next.
Oh, I
Next
know, right?
hurdle, next thing. Like,
Next.
can we
How
pause
long are you celebrating?
and like, I'm
Mm,
gonna start. You know what? I used to have a confetti gun, but it was
stop.
cool. because you didn't have to like pick it all up. It would
Wait, I
shoot
need a
the confetti
song
out
though.
and
Okay,
bring it back
next.
in. Okay.
Where do we get this at? I need this. We need this for the next episode. We're
I'm
ordering
gonna see
it.
if I can find another one. But they were all on like these very
Oh
gossamer threads, kind of
my
sit, and
gosh.
you shoot them out, and it's like all over, and you suck them back in. Let's clean up. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
we get to celebrate.
that's a good
We
like,
should get some still ones.
mm,
I wonder if we can customize.
we're gonna do something.
Sidebar,
I'd
y'all.
love to know in the comments, what are you celebrating?
What
Like,
are you
let us know
celebrating?
because we want to celebrate with you. And when you were like, I asked for the thing, I asked for the raise, maybe you spoke your needs,
Yes,
whatever it is, that is like, please know this is rolling in celebration and self-advocacy. Like, I
that
think
is
so
worthy of
often
it.
it gets so lost. And, you and I both, when we're talking with our clients, I know I have had so many conversations around self advocating to get the pay
Mm,
raise, the promotion, the da 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 da
right,
da. Like,
right,
keep that list. Keep that list of
right.
everything. I literally had a notebook of like, generated this, generated an incremental 1 mil, generated da da da, like whatever it is that is like I don't, not the word proving, what's the word, sister? Anchoring in
Yeah,
your value to what you are bringing to wherever you're at. And you can do the same
yeah.
thing in relationship, in family, with friendships, like, and I'm
Anything,
anything. It's just so potent.
anything. And I get it. We research says, psychologist in training here,
She's
almost done,
coming.
y'all.
She's coming.
The middle
Please.
is on her way. There's so much research out there over generations of women that would tell us that we don't celebrate ourselves, our wins enough in comparison to men. And I'm being broad because I know we have different gender identities. I mean cisgender male. And if we do celebrate, it's for a shorter amount of time. And if we do acknowledge our accomplishments, we're only going to acknowledge the big, obvious ones that you can't ignore. We're not going to acknowledge the small ones along the way. And we're not going to own our credit in it. We're going to likely say, these are generalizations from research, y'all. We're going to generally say, yes, thank you. My team and I, we did this. Jill and I did this. Well, Jill and I did do this, just an example. But we did this.
Yeah, yeah.
We, instead of, wow, thank you. I'm really proud of the leadership I demonstrated with that. Thank you. I really appreciate you acknowledging how I took the company from A to B or whatever the thing is. Thank you for acknowledging me as a great mom, a great dad, a great sister, a great, like we in general, women, we're not owning that. And so our psyche hears, keep proving, keep proving, keep proving, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next.
Yeah.
I would love to know from our listeners, like in the comments, yes, one thing you're celebrating, but also like what's one thing you get to reclaim for yourself as a win, as something you get to celebrate. And look, if you're like a whole lot of women I know, on any given day, it might be, I got up. That's what I'm claiming for myself today. I showered. I actually gave myself breakfast instead of rushing out the
I
door.
meditated.
I
I
meditated. I took a
meditated.
long bath after work, or these kinds of things are worthy of celebrating, worthy of celebrating. And we get to carve out space, we get to carve out energy for that. It's so important because you know what? We would never do this if it was our sister, our mom, our dad, our child, our spouse. We would never just let them go the whole day, whole week, whole month without acknowledging them for anything.
Mm.
We just wouldn't.
Well, this brings up like, check your circles. I mean,
Mm,
I think whenever you are finding yourself listening to this, take this as your celebratory moment to check your circles, because that is the most anchored, biggest expansion place for you to be in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Such a good point.
like
Check
I
your
can't
circles.
express it enough, because it's like you're here and we are here and we are building a very consciously created, energetically connected community. And we can't wait to meet you in person. But
Mm,
yeah, you have a home here. Like you have a place here.
yeah. And this is not just for this episode. We would love anytime you want to comment, just go and comment. Just like, I'm celebrating this today. We want to celebrate with you.
Yeah, this is our
Just
communication
drop it
channel.
in. You
Yeah.
get to tell us and be witnessed and find that when you allow yourself to be seen in that way, to celebrate and to own your own accomplishments, more times than not, we're met with such love, we're met with such congratulatory energy, and it does matter. It does matter. Because I know there are a lot, I'm hearing right now a particular person, I'm hearing her voice in my head. And a lot of times, we as strong Black women in particular, like, anybody got time for that? I got to get on to, I do have to get on to the next thing. I have things happening, I have things to go. And sister, you do have time to stop. And even if it's just for a moment, like, whew, I did that. I slayed. All right, cool. That feels
Here's the
good.
piece. Here's the
That feels
piece
good.
is if you're not pausing, what's the energy you're bringing into the okay, next, okay, next, okay, next? Because that's the
Mm-hmm.
truth. Check that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
at in your space. Because if you are not even pausing for one breath, one
Mm-hmm.
tick, and it's okay, next, okay, next, okay, next, okay, next, that's like a like what's the residue of
I
energy.
was just thinking it's residual energy. It's just
It's like
residue on you.
on you. You can't, then what? You're literally moving through sludge.
Oh,
How many of y'all then have
oh,
hit the wall and then you are just like collapsed, done? And then it is in a really low place
yeah.
because you have quicksanded yourself into this hole, not asking
Right.
for help, not being supported, not celebrating self, not paying attention to your needs. Okay, next, proof, 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 proof.
Mhm.
When it's like, but hold up, if I could have just been still for
Right.
one tick,
Right.
then next, then next tick.
Yeah.
That's all that our nervous systems need. It's a quick
It's a
acknowledgement.
moment. It's a moment. It's
Micro
a moment.
moments.
Those micro moments, those magical micro moments to create your own, what did we call it? A bubble of bliss, your bliss bubble.
Ooh. Mm.
And look, here's the reality. The residue is going to be on you no matter what. You get to consciously choose which residue is on you. Is it celebratory residue? Is it excitement? Is it joy? Is it pride? What is it that you choose consciously to have the residue dripping? Like, I'm dripping with celebration, dripping with joy, oozing
Pleasure.
with pleasure as I move into my next thing. Or, okay, I'm glad that's done. Yep, good. Nothing went wrong. Cool. I'm on to the next. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't that feel heavier? It sounds heavier even saying it. It feels heavier.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why we're so stressed and why we're so tired and why we don't have energy. I hear a lot of women tell me, I don't have the energy for all that. Well, no wonder. I am not surprised you
Yeah.
don't have energy for these high vibe things. I am not surprised at all.
Mm.
We get to check our circles and we get to check ourselves because when you are in such good circles, your circle will check your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Your circle will say, what's going on? What's up? Seems a little off.
Yeah.
And getting to gratitude is always helpful. But also, like, I know when I was at many times at a really low point in life, we all go through it. One of the things I started doing was gratitude at the beginning of each morning, for sure. What am I grateful for? And setting my intentions. But before I close my eyes, the last thing I wanted my unconscious space to absorb in from the conscious space, like what I was really proud of that day. Like, what did I really get done that I feel good about? Like, you know what? In the midst of it all, I actually made myself a healthy meal for dinner. And what I really wanted to do was order like some wings and pizza. But I gave myself something really healthy. And I know that feels good in my body. That was a big thing for me. It was really big. Or I actually spoke my truth today when it was really hard. I'm proud of myself for that. Or I didn't forget. Mom just told me recently, she was like, for the first time in a whole week, I didn't forget to put a juice in my kid's lunch. I'm just so scattered, I'm all over. I've been forgetting the drink for his lunch every day. And today I didn't forget the drink.
Mm.
Yes,
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 please.
yes to that, yes to that. But what's one thing?
I'm
Maybe
gonna also
what's one
throw
thing?
in, this is what came through this morning for me. It was like, slow down and do what you can do. So for
Yeah.
me, what about
Ooh,
also being in celebration? I did what I did today, and that is enough. That in and of itself, doing what you could do was enough. Because I
that's
literally
enough.
had this yesterday. I had multiple contractors, like, I got things happening at the nest, trying to
Mhm.
just all the things. And multiple contractors, something was up with one of the garage doors. So like that had somebody coming. I'm in between meetings. I get to the end of the day and I'm like, literally had this thought, what did I even do today? And then I had this other thought, no, what I did today was exactly what I did. Some days are very
Yeah,
disruptive
yeah,
where your needs, your energy gets to go other places than where you thought or how your day you thought was going to
yeah.
go. So I've really just I'm like really beginning this leaning into, I did what I could do. And it's like, yes.
Exactly.
And that
Yeah.
is it. That's it. Like
Trusting
the
that what I
juice.
did is
I
enough.
did what I could do.
That's enough.
Trusting what I did is enough. Oh, that's a good place to
Trusting that it's
conclude.
enough.
That's a
Okay,
good
before we
place to
conclude, I have to
conclude.
share just because you shared the
Please.
story. And this is what my calendar inspiration says for today. And it reminds me of what my mama
Y'all, she has
always says.
inspirations all around her always. So I'll
I
get
do.
these
I do.
messages. Jill,
I do.
today's, please,
Like, check
please
this out.
share.
Check this out. I'm going to put it up, but then I'll read it. It says, you can do anything, but not everything. And
Mm.
we get to remember
Oh,
that you can do anything. You just can't do it all at one time,
no.
and give yourself grace and compassion for that. Celebrate knowing that I can't get all this done. It's not even realistic. It's not even something I'm aiming for. What are the top things I know I must get done today? And then even if you didn't get them done, like Jill said, being in that space of, I did what I did today. I did as much as I could. I did as much as was needed. Because guess what? If you believe like I believe in divine timing and order and all those beautiful things, if it was supposed to be different at the end of the day, it would be different. It would be different, but it's rightly aligned for whatever happened. That's what was supposed to happen. That's the way it was supposed to go.
Mm.
And you get to just trust that it was enough. It's enough and celebrate it. Daggone it.
Ah,
Celebrate.
breathe in that. It's enough. All I'm doing
Oh,
is enough.
it's enough.
Thank
I
you
am enough and
all.
it's enough.
Thank you, sister.
Mwah.
What a beautiful episode. Thanks for joining this conversation. We can't wait to see you in the comments and
Yes.
inside this ever growing community. And we will see you next time.
We love you. And congratulations, Jill. Congratulations still.
Congratulations, Stacy. And still. Thank you all.
Woo. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.